this is a special night, and I just want to thank each and every one that's listening, WEAC members that are listening tonight. I am so proud and frankly humbled to be an educator who is about to take the reins of leading the state of Wisconsin. Clearly, your support and dedication to these races, all of our races. But I'll talk about me here first. But it was just an extraordinary evening, and I am, as I said, I'm humbled to be here. And also, it was real interesting on the campaign trail, both before and now after the election. The number of educators, whether paraprofessionals, teachers, administrators, school board members, that would come up to me and say, "You have to win. This is our time." And it actually happened today. I was in Milwaukee, and I was at the public market there, just meeting some folks and talking to people. I would say half the people I talked to either were educators, were married to educators, were grandparents of educators, or vice versa. The number of people in the state of Wisconsin that call education home is just a huge number, and that helped us carry the day. There's no question about it. And I also say this, and I especially those of you who are now in the classroom or working in the classrooms across the state, and you need to take credit for this also. The number of young people that participated in this election, I'm talking 18 and up, of course, that participated by voting in this election. I was just reading articles over the last couple of days how the numbers certainly didn't match the rest of the state, but compared to what it was, it's a huge leap. And of course, that huge leap of young people who you taught, who you mentored, who you were involved with during their formative years, that came out and voted for education. It was just an extraordinary percentage difference between the vote for me and the vote for the present governor. So not only is it you, your families, your teacher heritage, the work that people have done in the schools, people like my wife, who was a paraprofessional before she retired, all those people helped create this young generation who, frankly, in my opinion, voted for the right things. And that is knowing full well that's what's best for our kids, is best for our state, and as it turns out, best for our state's democracy. And so this was a watershed. This is a watershed issue election for all of us. And so I just want to thank you for that. I'm real excited going forward, obviously, working together on the budget and other policy priorities that I know we share in common. And we have to make sure that educators have the resources they need and the policies in place and the voice for those representing those in the classroom and in our schools that are representing the kids of the state to have a quality education. That's a top priority. So I'm encouraging you to do a couple things. Keep up the good work you're doing in schools. We're going to be changing the way things are done and funded, but feel free to reach out to our transition policy team. We do have now a transition group that's involved with transitioning me from my present job to the governorship, and it's part of state government. We have a good staff that's working real hard, getting information, and feel free to actually, if you have some suggestions, you can go to evers.wi.gov. There's places for people to make comments and so on and so forth. I hope you take a look at that. But also be assured that educators do have some seats right at the top right now in this transition program. Amy Trainer, one of your members that is from the Eau Claire area, that she serves as one of 5 co-chairs that is running the transition. So Amy is one of 5, and she's with a physician from Milwaukee, another person that is in charge of a CEO of Marinette, Racine, another CEO in the Madison area of a company, and several others, one of five. But the bottom line is, educators already have a seat at the table, and feel free to reach out to Amy also. You'll find her contact information on the website. In addition, we have to make sure that our budget succeeds. I'm going to propose a budget that, as a governor, that I propose as state superintendent, that will include a large increase in school funding, $1.4, $1.5 billion increase, which is going to include additional money for kids with disabilities, making sure that we have after-school programming for kids, fully funding 4K, making sure that we have 2/3 funding, issues around English learners and making sure that we have resources for them, and also mental health issues for things that you know and I know as educators that are important to have those resources necessary. So I'm looking forward to working with you all. I certainly appreciate your support and guidance in the past, but now we're in a position that we're going to govern, and not everybody in the legislature is necessarily on our side in some issues. I think we can reach common ground on a number of them, but it's going to take your efforts across the state of Wisconsin to get our budget passed. We won't be releasing that in final form until well after I'm inaugurated on January 7th. But in the meantime, we're developing that budget and making sure it's going to meet the needs of the kids and the educators of the state. And it will reflect exactly what I talked about when I released that budget last September. So again, the hard work of the campaign is over. The hard work of governing and making sure that we are being supportive of the people that work in our schools begins now in earnest. I give you my pledge that we'll be working with your leadership and you personally, if you want to be involved in any way possible. We're going to continue to visit schools across the state of Wisconsin and visit with educators, and we'll continue to do that just like I did as state superintendent. But WEAC will have a place at the table. We'll be conferring with President Martin and his leadership team going forward, along with all sorts of other people. We have to make sure this is a big tent in order for us to survive. But survive we will, thrive we will, and I can't thank you enough for all the good work that you've done to get us this far, to get through 8 years that have been exhausting and exasperating and frankly demoralizing for the people that work in our schools and work with our kids. Those days are over. The issue of making sure that we value the people that work in our schools, that will never be a problem for me. I will do it, and as state superintendent, and I will do that as governor of the state of Wisconsin.